Hello everyone and welcome to another video. Today we're going to be taking a look at some more Psychic Cup battles with a very strong meta team. The idea behind this team is you have 3 generalists that don't really lose hard to a lot of Pokemon in the meta, and then 2 Pokemon in the back that perform very well if you can get an energy advantage or a shield advantage for them, especially Galarian Slowking. Unless you run into a lot of Broxish or a lot of fast move heavy teams, Galarian Slowking up shields is an absolute monster in this meta. Overall, this team performed very well, but there is one thing that I would say about it, and that is that I'm running very good IVs on my Pokemon because these are the only ones that I've built. I would say if you're running Malamar, Galarian Slowking, Galarian Slowbro, and also Victini, even though you can't control it, you want higher attack, because if you're seeing a lot of the same Pokemon and you're in a lot of mirror matches and a lot of matchups where the attack stats are very similar, you want to be able to win those CMP ties. And it was a very big handicap that I wasn't able to win a lot of those CMP ties in those matchups. I actually lost quite a lot of games because of it, but overall this team performed very well, so let's take a look at the battles. Going into the first game, we lead into a Victini. This is a very tricky Pokemon to deal with. Usually because of the low attack stat of my Malamar, I like to try and go for the CMP tie on the first recreate. So I try to throw it after 10, expecting them to potentially go up to the back-to-back recreate, which I've experienced a lot of people do. Because if you land the foul play before they go for a recreate, it can't take out the Victini, but if you get the CMP tie and lose it, they have to shield up the first one. A recreate is not enough to take out Malamar. The opponent full sends the overheat. It takes out the Malamar. They even come out with 4 quick attacks worth of energy. They bring in a Raichu on the Galarian Slowking, so we can't go for this up to the Shadow Ball, and they bait with the Surf, baiting because they basically have to shield when they have this amount of energy, and we had a move that could potentially one-shot them. They have to shield it up. They can make it to a wild charge, but they should be 1 away from the next move, so we can make it to a Surf before they get to the next wild charge, and because they're debuffed, this will take out the Alolan Raichu. Now we come out with some health on the Galarian Slowking, but the Victini still has energy in the back. It has 4 quick attacks worth of energy. They bring in a Galarian Rapidash. We go for the Shadow Ball on bad timing because I wanted to get it off before they made it to a Mega Horn or a higher horsepower, but by going for the Shadow Ball, we're quite far away from the next Shadow Ball, meaning the Galarian Rapidash can overfarm a lot, come up with a lot of energy. They go for the Body Slam, take out the Galarian Slowking. We bring in our own Rapidash. They can make it to another move. They're at a lot of energy at this point. We call that it's only a Body Slam, expecting them to go for the back-to-back Body Slam, but they actually bring in the Victini. It was 1 away from the next move, so we throw 1 Fairy Wind, go for the Body Slam on the CMP to take out the Victini. The Galarian Rapidash has so much energy. They're the back-to-back Body Slams. This is coming down to who wins CMP. We go for the Body Slam on the CMP and we win it. This is the only time in the entire video where I win a crucial CMP. Body Slam takes out the Galarian Rapidash, and that is a good game. Next game, into another Victini. We're gonna try to go for the same play this time again. It is a little bit risky as they go for a move after 8. This could be an overheat. It does about 77%. It is a little bit risky letting it go, but I'm expecting the recreate. And we take it, and then they bring in a Malamar. We're a little bit slow on the swap, so we go for the Body Slam because our fast moves were misaligned. So they're only getting 1 fast moves worth of energy, whereas we're getting in 2 turns worth of energy in when they throw their move. And that means that because we were a little bit behind on energy, we can still make it to the back-to-back Body Slams before they make it to the back-to-back foul plays. But then afterwards I realized that 2 Body Slams wouldn't be quite enough to take out the Malamar, so I would rather just overfarm, come up with more energy on my Galarian Rapidash, and then shield up the foul play, go for the Body Slam before they make it to the next foul play. And now the Victini should be 2 away from the next recreate because it farmed up to 8, so we can't farm up to the high horsepower, go for the Body Slam on the potential CMP. This will have to be shielded because it could be a higher horsepower. They shield it up, we bring in the Malamar, we go for the foul play. This won't quite take out the Victini, but it will do a lot of damage. Then they bring in a Galarian Rapidash, but we still have a lot of energy on this Malamar. They will be able to farm us down, but we might be able to make it to another foul play. They try to farm us down, but we just about make it to another foul play with Malamar. This will either take them out or grab the shield. It grabs the shield. They have a lot of energy on Rapidash. I want to absorb some of the energy or snipe them with the Body Slam. We absorb some energy. This is absolutely fine. Now they should only have about 3 Fairy Winds worth of energy, but they can still make it to a high horsepower on this Galarian Slowking. I don't think they're making it to a bait plus a high horsepower plus a high horsepower is the move that does the most damage. It does more damage than any move the Victini can throw, so we shield up the potential high horsepower. It is the high horsepower. They bring the Victini, go for the overheat. It does massive damage, but we can live it to get off the Shadow Ball. The opponent top lefts in the CMP charge move. Very nice done, but we do win that game. Next game, good lead into Galarian Slowking. The opponent does, I think, 3 hexes, and then they're gonna swap out into a Malamar. We respond with a Galarian Rapidash. and now we can load up to the potential Mega Horn before they make it to a potential Hyper Beam, and we will also be able to make it to 2 Body Slams before they can make it to 2 foul plays. So we go for this Body Slam at the time when they're at 2 foul plays, not expecting that they were gonna no shield it, because we thought that it was gonna take them out, but they just about live it, and they full send the Hyper Beam to take out the Galarian Rapidash, and they grab switch advantage. But this is okay, we didn't really absolutely need switch advantage, because Galarian Slowking is still gonna be do alright against another Galarian Slowking. They bring in a Galarian Rapidash afterwards, but we have a lot of energy on Malamar. This is why I really like these 3 Pokemon. Even though this is a bad matchup, if you have energy on Malamar, it's not actually a bad matchup for Malamar, as we can make it to another foul play before they make it to a potential Mega Horn after 7 to force the shield from the Galarian Rapidash. Now they can make it to a potential Mega Horn before we make it to the next foul play. We let it go, it's only the Body Slam. They were the back-to-back, they decide not to throw it. Instead, we make it to another foul play to grab the second shield from the Galarian Rapidash. And now they have a lot of energy on this Galarian Rapidash. I'm thinking this is the move we want to shield. Even if it's a Body Slam, we can shield the next high horsepower. It is the high horsepower. That was a very nice shield. This should only be a Body Slam, however, if I've counted correctly. And I have. It's only the Body Slam. We can't let it go. They bring in the Galarian Slowking. We make it to the Shadow Ball before they can make it to their Shadow Ball. This does big damage to the Galarian Slowking. And now we can farm them down. The Hex went through, so even if they have back-to-back, we can just shield this up, Hex down the Galarian Slowking, and Hex down the Galarian Rapidash. And that is another good game. Next game, we lead into a Raichu. If this has Volt Switch, which this does, I will explain how you do against the Thundershock version later on. But against Volt Switch, you will be able to outpace it to 3 moves before they make it to 3 moves, no matter what. Even if they go Thunder Punch. So we can't go for the first foul play. You don't need them to debuff themselves before you throw it, because a foul play still just does so much damage to an Alolan Raichu because it's so frail. As they go for the Wild Charge, and then they swap into a Malamar. They swapped out with 2 Volt Switches worth of energy loaded, so we do need to be aware of that. As they bring in the Malamar, we bring in the Galarian Rapidash, they can make it to 1 foul play. They did load up to the Hyper Beam, so we could no shield it, no problem, and then we can make it to the potential Mega Horn, go for the Body Slam. It doesn't take them out, of course. And then they make it to another move. I'm thinking I don't want to be down shield, have no shields against a Raichu with energy. So I let it go, thinking that now I can just overfarm with Malamar, come out with a ton of energy, and Malamar can hit everything with its energy. So we go up to right before they make it to another move, and then we go for the foul play. We come out with a lot of energy from this matchup. If they bring back in the Alolan Raichu, I need to be aware of the fact that they're only 1 away from the next Wild Charge, but they bring in a Victini, we can make it to a foul play, but the next one will be on CMP. We have to hope that they don't have a high attack Victini. They have a high attack Victini, and they knew exactly how much energy we had, so they go for the V-Crit to take out the Malamar. We bring in the Galarian Slowking, they bring in the Raichu, they do 4 more Volt Switches, and because they already had 2 Volt Switches loaded, we know that they're at the back-to-back Wild Charge, they will win CMP, so we just concede the match, let the Malamar or the Galarian Slowking go. Next game, absolutely terrible lead into Galarian, or there are too many Galarians, into a Shadow Gardevoir. We swap into the Galarian Rapidash, they respond with a Bruxish, so we can make it to a potential Mega Horn and then go for the Body Slam. I'm thinking that I can't go up to a potential Mega Horn again, but then I will have to shield, because they will probably just go for an Aqua Tail before we can make it to a potential Mega Horn. So I would rather just make sure I put them into farm range without having to shield. But then afterwards I realize it's probably one of these very heavy fast move teams. So I'm very much expecting it to be a Claydol in the back. It's either Bruxish lead with Galarian Rapidash and then Gardevoir, or it's Gardevoir lead and then Bruxish Claydol I found. So I would rather have my Galarian Slowking up against the Claydol later on. In the 0 to 1 or the 1 to 0 shield scenario, so the Claydol can do less fast move damage to my Galarian Slowking, then I would have it in the 2 to 1, because these Mud Slaps are doing a lot. So I just want to get rid of it as soon as possible. I make a big mistake by going for the Shadow Ball in this matchup. You want to go double Surf. This is just bad matchup knowledge by me. I should also go for the Surf before they get to farm us down. I thought I could farm them down, come out with a Shadow Ball, but instead we Simul KO. The Gardevoir comes back in on our Dark-type Malamar. We can't make it to 2 foul plays, and they take us out. I think you can definitely win that against that team. The way I played it, just go double Surf with the Galarian Slowking against the Claydol in the back. Next game, lead into another Victini. Once again, we're gonna go up to 10, go for the foul play. This time, we do get the CMP tie. Again, it's a little bit risky. If they go overheat, they just take us out with all this energy and it's basically game over. But I found that by far most people go for the V-Create. And because we got the CMP, they have to shield up the first foul play. They bring in a Galarian Rapidash. We can bring in the Galarian Slowking. They can't go for a move. I'm just very afraid of the potential high horsepower. It is the high horsepower, very good shield. It takes 7/7/6, so we can overfarm with the Galarian Slowking and then go for the Shadow Ball before they make it to another one. The Shadow Ball will take out the Galarian Rapidash. The Victini still has 5 quick attacks worth of energy, so they have a V-Create stored. We need to be aware of that as they bring in the Victini. I was thinking that these Pokemon are very frail, so a super effective move would just be too much to handle, which is why I went for the Surf. But the Victini just takes it on the chin, makes it to the back-to-back V-Create. Instead of going for the V-Create, they very wisely go for the Overheat, knowing that a V-Create would not be enough to take out the Galarian Slowking from that range. We bring in the Galarian Rapidash, they bring in a Galarian or a Malamar. Everything is Galarian in this video. No, we can make it to a potential Mega Horn, go for the Body Slam. They make it to a move as well. I'm thinking they're at the Hyper Beam. It takes 14 to get to a foul play plus a hyper beam, so even if they bait me with a foul play and I shield it up, I'm gonna be able to make it to 3 body slams before they make it to the foul play and a hyper beam, or at the same time. And because Galarian Rapidash wins the CMP, they won't be able to get off the hyper beam no matter what. So we take out the Malamar, they bring back in the Victini, they can make it to the V-Create. This will take out the Galarian Rapidash, does so much damage, but we just have too much energy on the Malamar in the back. And this foul play will take out the Victini, and that is a good game. Next game, lead into a Galarian Rapidash. We swap into our own Galarian Rapidash. If they stay in, we know that Malamar is probably gonna have good matchups in the back, because this is basically the worst matchup it can see, because you don't run Galarian Rapidash in the lead with the Gardevoir in the back. So we can just swap in the Galarian Rapidash. They go for one move and then they swap into their own Galarian Slowking. At this point, I could shield and then make it to the higher horsepower, but by no shielding, we get a shield advantage and they come up with no energy. If I shield, I can get off the high horsepower, probably grab the second shield, but then they come up with, I think, about 3 hexes worth of energy. Then we can bring in the Malamar on the Galarian Slowking, we go for the foul play, does big damage, they make it to the Shadow Ball, but they're also just about gonna be able to make it to a Surf. I'm thinking maybe we can live this because I have such good IVs on my Malamar, we just about can't. But we have a shield advantage on the Galarian Slowking, so this could go very well if they don't have something that's very bad. They bring back in the Galarian Rapidash on the Galarian Slowking. They only farm up to 4. They were energy dry because they threw all of it earlier, so this can only be a body slam. We take it, and then once again I throw in bad timing. I want to get this off before they make it to another body slam, but I also want to overfarm as much as possible. So I throw right before they make it to a move, and in the back it's a Malamar, and this is really not ideal. They can make it to a foul play on good timing as well. And now you need to land the Shadow Ball plus a Surf in order to take out the Malamar, so we can go for the Surf. This is a bait, but I'm just expecting the opponent to shield. They do shield it up. That is very nice. Now we can make it to a Shadow Ball. They make it to a foul play, but they should be energy dry. They should be 5 away from the next move. This is going to be very, very close. Maybe I should go for the Surf to see if maybe they have very bad IVs and that Malamar and 2 Surfs would be enough. But it looks like we need the Surf plus a Shadow Ball. We make it to the Surf, but we lose the CMP tie to the Malamar. If we had better IVs or more attack on Galarian Slowking, maybe we would have been able to take it. It is very IV dependent who wins that, but we do lose that game, very close. Next game, lead into a Thundershock Alolan Raichu. Alolan Raichu gets to 5 or wild charges after 5 when it's running Thundershock, but also because it's running Thundershock, it's doing less fast move damage, so Malamar can live 1 wild charge as I shield up the first one, which was a little bit unnecessary. Then they get a bit of a bug. I think if you go for the back-to-back on a CMP tie, you can sometimes get 2 CMP ties in one, meaning the opponent doesn't sneak in a move, so you get ahead on energy, which is a bit of a fun trick. But we can make it to the foul play after taking 1 wild charge, bring in the Galarian Rapidash. We don't want to be down energy. I know that like this might look like we really want the Galarian Rapidash on the Malamar rather than the Galarian Slowking, and that might also be the case, but you just really don't want to be farmed down because Malamar with energy is also just a massive problem as we go straight for the overheat or for the high horsepower into the Galarian Slowking. I'm thinking it's a Malamar in the back. My Galarian Slowking probably can't take it out by itself, so I wanted some of my Galarian Rapidash to come out of this matchup. We can make it 2 Body Slam. They denied us earlier, we get a deny here, and it's absolutely massive because we got that deny, which really shouldn't have happened. We get to another Body Slam to bring the Malamar so low that we can just farm them down with Galarian Slowking, and that is a very good game. Lag giveth, lag taketh away, or whatever they say. Next game, lead into a Alolan Raichu. We can make it to the foul play before they make it to a move. They basically have to shield this. This does almost all of its health, so they do shield it up. And Alolan Raichu users also tend to shield up their Alolan Raichus and try to keep it alive. So I'm very much expecting that they might try to swap out at some point. As they go for the wild charge, we want to make sure we always throw in the middle of their volt switches so they can't catch, and also so we throw in good timing so we can go for the foul play before they make it to another move. Then they will be able to make it to a move here, and they should be 1 away from the next one. So we can shield this up and then make it to a foul play, but they actually just swap out into a Malamar so we can bring in the Alolan or Galarian Rapidash. Jesus, there are too many regions in this game. They can make it to a foul play, but now we can make it to the back-to-back Body Slam. The second one will be on CMP. I can potentially take out the Malamar. It looks like it might barely be enough, maybe not, or because this is a CMP, they have to undercharge in order to not take me out to get a farm down, and they have to make a pretty good undercharge. So I go for an undercharge thinking that they were probably going to take out my Galarian Rapidash, and then I can leave them in farm range to get energy on my Galarian Slowking. But I know that the Raichu has energy in the back, so I want my switch timer to come up, which is why I waited, so that if they bring in the Raichu, I can bring in the Malamar, go for the foul play before they make it to a move, take out the Alolan Raichu. In the back, it's a Galarian Rapidash. I want them to throw a Body Slam into my Malamar because then there's no way they're gonna make it to a move before we can make it to a Shadow Ball and Galarian Slowking. But they very wisely realized that their only win con is to try and farm us down, come up with enough energy to take out the Slowking. But because they try to farm us down, we get to the foul play on 1 HP and we take out the Galarian Rapidash. Next game, lead into the mirror. Oh, I remember this game. In this matchup, it's actually kind of nice to lose CMP, because with this team, as I say, you would rather have an energy advantage than switch advantage, I think at least. So as we see, I lose the CMP to their Malamar, meaning if they throw their third foul play immediately, they're just gonna take out our Malamar and we can leave them in farm range, bringing the probably Galarian Rapidash to farm them down. So I was just kind of assuming that they were gonna throw this immediately, knowing that they won CMP. So I foolishly throw my own one. I should just, now I take them out, now they come out with an energy advantage. I actually really don't want the switch advantage. And now because of that, they're gonna get a head start on their Galarian Rapidash as we bring in our own. And now they're gonna be able to get to the Body Slam before we make it to the Body Slam as well. And now I do make a bit of a mistake. I wanted to see who won CMP. That can come in use, but because I go for the Body Slam on the CMP and we lose it, we have to shield it up. Of course, we can't let Rapidash go down with this amount of energy, but now we have less energy if they decide to swap out afterwards. But they bring in a Galarian Slowking. This might not be all doom and gloom. We can make it to the high horsepower bait with the Body Slam, and we can just about make it to the high horsepower before we get farmed down. This will either grab the second shield or do big damage. It grabs the second shield, but they come up with 6 hexes worth of energy, meaning if they go straight Shadow Ball, they will get to the second Shadow Ball at the same time as we do. But we have a catch, and I'm up against a very good opponent. I think they're gonna expect the catch, so expecting that they're gonna expect the catch, I go straight for the Shadow Ball, even though I was expecting to lose the CMP if they went for the CMP. We take out the Galarian Slowking, we make it to the serve on the Galarian Rapidash, and this will of course take out the Galarian Rapidash, and that is another good game. Into the final game, lead into a Galarian Slowbro. I haven't seen a lot of these. This is also a good matchup for Malamar. Malamar has a lot of good matchups, obviously being a dark type in a Psychic Cup meta. So we can make it to the foul play. It doesn't take out the Galarian Slowbro, and then we make it to another foul play. Of course, we're gonna lose CMP. This is another matchup where it is IV dependent. So maybe if I had better IVs or more attack on my Malamar, we would have been able to win that CMP. But as it is, we take the Sludge Bomb, take out the Galarian Slowbro. I don't want to get farmed down, so bring in the Galarian Rapidash, they bring in a Galarian Slowking, and they can make it to a move. Because I overfarmed so much, this might have been a bit of a mistake. It's very easy for them to bait because I absolutely have to shield when they have a move that can potentially one-shot, and I have that amount of energy, but we can make it to the high horsepower, go for the bait with the body slam. The reason why I often bait in these situations is because it's so risky to risk so much energy with the high horsepower. And even if they call a body slam, you still get off a lot of damage. If I land 2 body slams from this, I'm still getting off a lot of damage, as we can make it to the high horsepower because they miscounted on the CMP. We grab a shield advantage, and we even come out of the matchup with a lot of health on the Galarian Rapidash. In the back, it's a Malamar. 1 body slam wouldn't be enough to take them out from this range, so we'd rather get in some more fairy wind damage so we can go for the body slam on the next CMP, on the next foul play. We could have also gone for the high horsepower, but the body slam takes out the Malamar, and that is a very good game. And that is, well, the final game for today. And, well, we get a 4-1 to finish off the day. We have to manage our Pokemon. We transfer the Squirtle, we get a Gibble, catch it on the first try, get our reward, and that is a very, very good video. I don't know what's happening. Yikes, I'm not gonna edit this out. Sorry about that. That was the last battle for today, and overall, obviously, this is not the most revolutionary team in the entire world, but it is just so difficult to be successful with Spice in the Psychic Cup. So yeah, it's a good team, it worked well. Other than that, fun fact of the day, a Galarian Slowking with 141 HP, which mine has, beats Bruxish in the one-shield scenario, just straight up, no energy advantage. You do need to land the bait though. Other than that, if you liked the video, remember to leave a like. If you're new here, subscribe to the channel. And of course, a massive thank you to the members of the channel. Your support is very much appreciated. Thank you for watching, and I hope to see you next time.